polishing your personal image. Like for men and women, I think a lot of people just don't take enough care of their image.
You see Gateway Subs, you see Mason Glow, you see what all these businesses, but what's the story behind them?
That's most businesses' biggest failure, is they build.
Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to Talkin St. Pete. I am your host, Ryan Bogdan. Before we jump into today's guest, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Bogdan Homes. If you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, find our contact information in the description below. Enough of that. On to our awesome guest. I'm super excited about this one. This guy comes with a lot of energy. He's well-versed in all things social media, whether it's doing real estate content, dealership content, jiu-jitsu, life, biohacking. This guy is super awesome. Welcome to the show, Tony Salazar. Thank you for being here, brother.
Ryan, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. This is a long time coming, and we had to reschedule, so I want to apologize publicly for that. Yeah, I know.
I love it, and I love to be in the guest spot. I'm not hosting the interview, and it's just nice to sit back and let someone else take the reins.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that because it's always not a struggle, but I'm tailoring this conversation in a direction of where it wants to go. But let's just have some fun with this. See where we end up.
Okay.
So give everyone a little bit of background of who are you, what'd you get, how, and 8limbscreative, your business. How did that come to be? And I'm curious, why 8limbs?
Yeah, if I didn't have a long sleeve shirt, I could show you. But yeah, 8limbs came from, so let's dial back. Let's go about 20 years. When high school ended, I was in culinary school. I was a chef, and I was pursuing the career of, hey, cooking's what I want to do. And I quickly realized working nights is a really bad life. It's not the life that I ever would want to myself and see fulfilled. So I found jiu-jitsu through random lucky circumstances at 21 years old. And when I found jiu-jitsu, it completely consumed my mind in an obsession way that I can't. Most people have felt it in some areas, but it was like true obsession. When I started realizing what these smaller guys could do to me, it was like, I have to know this. I have to, and it just consumed me. So dove in, started competing in jiu-jitsu, started finding sponsorships, started doing like national competitions and seeking sponsorships. And when I started finding big ones, On It was one of the first big ones I could find. They required me to create content. They were like, hey, we need you to create content. This is 2013 when I didn't even know what the word content had to do with.
Yeah, this is
so
early days.
I bought a GoPro, and then I upgraded to a Canon 70D and that kind of camera. Then I started vlogging. So I started creating this media, and then it was all for jiu-jitsu to keep my sponsorships paying for me to travel, paying for my equipment, and paying for registration of competing. And then 8limbs came from my legs are weirdly flexible. I have really flexible hips. At this time, I could put both feet behind my head as like a bigger guy.
Weird.
So octopus became kind of like the nickname on the mat. Like you grapple like an octopus, you move like an octopus. And I saw this really cool video in the London Aquarium. It's on YouTube still. I show people sometimes in my house, where a giant octopus is in a tank and it reaches up and strangles a huge shark, pulls him down on the reef and grabs him from behind. The shark can't bite the octopus and maneuvers him into the reef and kills him and eats him. And so it was like when I
need
saw
to see this
that,
video. That is
pull it up.
true.
If you guys are watching at home, you can always find it. I show people all the time. What was so cool about that was I understood that the octopus as an animal was like the perfect balance where intelligence meets physicality, where it's like limitless movement and there's no better mover than an octopus in its element in the water. It can fly, right? But it can do anything, but it's very, very intelligent. And that was what I was striving to be with my jiu-jitsu, the same thing. With be very hard to hold down and have limitless movement, but also out strategy and have my conditioning in place and have my game plan in place. So 8limbs was supposed to be my jiu-jitsu school that I was going to open here in St. Pete. That was the plan. And then life just took a different direction, and I got into advertising business and creating media, and it exploded for us, and here we are now.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very intentional, and I like the story behind that. I didn't think that. What's that documentary with the octopus?
Just type it in. This is what my tattoo sleeve is.
Yeah, the video. But
My Octopus Teacher.
Yes,
that's a good one. I would suggest watching that too.
Yes, if you haven't seen that, definitely watch that. I think it's on Netflix.
Most people will have a little couple tears shed. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, no, that just to follow the life of an octopus, which that guy, they're cool creatures.
They're amazing, and that's what my arm sleeve. So my sleeve is a giant great white shark, and there's a huge octopus strangling the shark.
Got it from that video.
From the video, and just from what I try to embody with life. That's it. It's like have both sides, have the intelligence and have the physicality intersect in this place where you're really hard to beat in any endeavor.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. Yeah. Are you originally from St. Pete?
I'm from Lakeland, Florida.
Okay, got it. So Florida.
Yeah, so I'm about 4 years of a transplant here to St. Pete. My sister lived here, always on Snell Isle. You know, I've always come out here for the weekends.
Nice.
For the day trips. So St. Pete was like a second home, like my weekend home, and I always knew I wanted to be here. It just took me a long time to actually move my roots here.
Yeah, yeah. And so you say now you're going to be competing in jiu-jitsu, so you're doing a lot of things for health and fitness and all
Yeah.
that. And I know cold plunges are something that you're into.
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Cold plunges are amazing. So I was just showing your crew. Cold Plunge, the actual brand Plunge, is one of my podcast sponsors, and they just sent me a unit for
Nice.
for trade, which is really cool. I've been doing cold plunges for about 6 years at my house, and I originally was doing it in a big dumpster trash can.
And you
that
got to
have.
bring the ice in.
Bring the ice.
ice in.
That's
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
started,
yeah.
and that would be all the fighters after training. We were all getting this nasty water, and looking back now, what I know about the science, we weren't doing much for ourselves at the time, but we thought we were doing
Why
something
not?
cool, just because the water wasn't cold enough and we weren't getting in long enough. So we were just jumping
How
in
long
after
were you
training.
getting in?
We weren't timing it, just
Oh,
a
you're
little
just-
bit, and
just
the next
enough
guy
of
would
like,
jump
oh,
in.
this sucks, I gotta get
and
out.
It sucked,
Yeah, yeah.
after a hard training day. Then I got into the freezer units, which is how I got the relationship with cold plunge. But you get to, I have actually on 8limbs Lifestyle on YouTube, a video how to set this up at your house, how to set up your own freezer ice bath for about $700. You buy a Frigidaire unit, the exact unit is specific, it's already sealed. And then you can fill it up with a pump, fill it up with water, and you run it for power at 8 hours a day, and it maintains without freezing
coldness.
over,
Okay.
right? So I did that almost every day, and I just became the guy that everyone, when I meet people in the world now, they're like, oh, you're the guy that gets in the ice baths, even if it's in a business setting. So it kind of became a thing that I loved the cold, and I loved what it did for my body and what it did for just the mental of getting up and looking at this thing in the morning and having every cell of your body be like, I do not want to get in here.
It's a struggle, man.
And some days you just be so weak I wouldn't be able to mentally do it. And then later I'd be so pissed that I let myself have that moment that I'd go, make up for it. But
So how long do you stay in there?
and now between 3 to 5 minutes. However, the difference is the unit I'm in now
Yeah,
is
cold.
intense. Yeah.
What's the temperature?
It's not about the temperature, it's about the water flow. So the temperature in the unit I'm in now is 45 degrees.
Yeah, because it creates you a thermal barrier
Yeah, you
around
know
you.
about this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, man. I'm in it. I'm in
Yeah.
it. So yours is moving the water around you
Right.
consistently.
Right. So the one that was in before, it could be, and you'll see videos on my social, it could be 34 degrees and there's chunks of ice everywhere around me. It was as cold as it could be. But once you got in and you were still, your body would immediately just warm up and you're okay. There's no moving water. And occasionally you'd move your arms, legs, and you feel very cold.
Oh
again.
yeah.
So this cold plunge, when I first got it and set it up, there's jets blasting like a hot tub all inside of it. So when
Man,
you get
that's-
inside this thing, it is a cyclone of circulation, and
Right.
it's just blasting you from every direction. So I think the first morning, me and my girlfriend made it like 30 seconds, 40
Oh, yeah,
seconds.
'cause
It
it's-
wasn't ready, and I'm like had to mentally prepare and
It's the first 2 to 3 minutes that are the hardest.
like the first minute, I think, and then you go numb.
Yeah, then you go numb. So I did 14 minutes at Vitality, St. Pete, which is an area that just opened near Seminole.
That's awesome.
lot of cool stuff going on
It's
there.
so cool
with the
there's places
biohacking.
like that
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Right? Like now, and St. Pete's one of the best areas for that ever. But it's
Yeah.
like now, like any trend that is popular, you can find a spot. Float therapy was something that
Have you done that?
I did it for years, but I drove to Orlando to do it from
Oh, wow.
Lakeland. And now St. Pete has that, Temp has that, everywhere has it.
Yeah.
Cold, same thing. Like how cold started was my company was marketing for cryotherapy clinics. So we were doing cryotherapy, and I loved the cold, and I could go whenever I wanted for free, but still leaving your home and driving to the place and doing it would take away the frequency,
Yeah, because you're not. It's a commitment to
Right.
do it like that.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
the float is something really really cool.
I love float tank
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah. There. Shout out to Tom in New Jersey. And what was his? I think it's. Man, I'm forgetting it. Sorry, Tom. It's float something. Float. It's such a simple name. I'm forgetting it. But his float tanks, he would build these whole rooms out. So
Yeah.
they weren't just the pods, and you could be as big as a starfish in there. You could
Yeah,
go
that's
full
yeah.
out.
They
And
like
so-
white pods.
No, his was he would build a room. Like he was known. He actually
wow.
built some of the for the guys that on it.
Okay.
He built out their float tanks because he's just a float tank
Okay,
designer.
okay. That's
Super
awesome.
super cool. And the places you can go when you eliminate all
Mm-hmm.
your senses is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, I think the first few times I wasn't able to experience that, and I was like, people were just making this up. They're exaggerating. I'm very conscious in my mind, but it was like by time 3, time 4, when I started to really let myself just let go, then it would start. And it would, like I would try to like journal after. Sometimes I was like, in my mind, there was like a repeating another language that I was like, what is that? And I'd leave and I'm like, that was weird. I don't even know what the language that was. A lot of things came up for me in this cold, in
Yeah.
those float sessions,
Yeah, between the cold and the float, man, there's
Yeah.
so many things that we can do now that we
Yeah.
didn't know about to really untap and unlock our next potential. Which you've had some cool people on the podcast. We were just talking about Navy SEAL
Mm-hmm.
that you had on there. What are some things that guy is doing? Because you said he's super chill, but he's doing crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah, he's living a life. Some of my guests on my show have been incredible. Like Jeff Gum, who we were talking about yesterday, he was a Navy SEAL and he's an entrepreneur who his activewear brand that he owns is one of our clients. That's how we got connected. And he's like that. I mean, we talked about his Navy SEAL story and what he went through getting toxoplasmosis in his blood and having to leave Hell Week the first time and then go back again. And it's like talking to people like that, two things. One, are so good for you to realize that like we're really not that tough, no matter how tough we think we are. I've never been in those type of situations and pushed through things like he did just to get through Hell Week. And I'm like, wow, like they, and the number he gave me was 253 in his class started buds and 26 graduated. Yeah, so that's how many people fall off.
The dropout rate's ridiculous.
Yeah, just because they couldn't make it through.
Yeah.
And then, like he lives a life. He's traveling everywhere, skis in a Speedo on the mountain slopes.
So how'd you get connected to him?
Instagram.
Yeah.
Through what I do best.
Same power, the same thing we do.
Yeah, through what I do best, which is through finding their product, finding something that I liked, and sending the message and saying, hey, I think I could benefit your brand. Yeah. And then we have this conversation. And it started off with, they sent a couple pair of board shorts out. And then we went out on the wake surf boat in Snell Isle and we shot some really cool content with dolphins surfing behind us in the wave. And they were like, this is incredible. Can we buy this content from you? Besides, we can use it for ads. And I'm like, let's have a different conversation. And then became a client. And then, we've done like 5 different commercials for him.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So, and you said you just took on some dealerships.
Yeah.
To
Loki. We just took on Loki dealerships.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice to do their marketing. So I'm sure there's some cool things in the pipeline there.
Yeah. There's a ton of similarities in auto dealerships and real estate. And when I really zoomed out and thought about it, was like dealerships, the broker, salespeople, the agent, and their job is to bring people through the door. And so like the agents who are not successful, we deal with about 619 agents in our client base that we serviced last year. We talked to so many, and we see ones who are really dominant and who make a ton of money and have a lot of free time. We have 2 that I interview on my podcast that are millionaires from commissions. So when you clear $1 million a year, you're doing something right as a real estate agent, a single agent, right?
Yeah.
And it's so clear to think the ones who kill it take complete ownership for their own lead gen. They don't look to the brokerage for any of that. Same with the dealership. The top sales guys, they don't just wait for the dealership to take the phone calls and set their appointments. They're meeting people. They're going on social media. They're getting their own people to come in and sell them cars.
Right. They're just waiting for the walk-ins.
Right. So when we found that synergy, we teach our class, teaching people how to navigate and get lead gen through social media, through being yourself. It worked out really well with the dealership. So now we're doing
for those that are listening that are business owners and around St. Pete, since we have a lot of that, that's our audience. What are some top things that you're seeing right now that's working to drive business using social? What we're doing right here, authentic, real conversation. So what we always talk about, the 2 biggest things is not selling to your audience. Just get them to follow you because they like what you're giving. So make shareable, savable content. Educate, infotainment style content. The worst thing you can do in social media is, hey, buy your house from me. Hey, buy your house from me. Hey, let me sell your house. People are like, bro, I don't know you yet. Just give me a minute to fill you out. Right? It's like if you're a pretty girl who's that person that owns that home and all the guys are hitting on you, you hit that point, you're like, I'm over it. I'm done. Yeah. So building authenticity and trust through
getting them to follow you home. Yeah. That's Russell Brunson's strategy that we follow in our system is you just go to social media to make friends and then you get your friends to follow you home. And following you home is like, in your bio, I have a free course. So that's one of the best ways that people see my content. My free course is about how to get comfortable speaking on camera and just get through the I suck on camera part. And that's free. All I need is your email address.
Give me some right now.
Some of those tips?
Yeah.
Breathing before you speak on camera.
That's big.
Breath work. Yep. Polishing your personal image. Like for men and women, I think a lot of people just don't take enough care of their image. Then by the time they're on camera, they're going back and they're hating on themselves for a year of neglect. But it's like, hey, get your haircut, trim your beard, right? Go get a facial at Mason Glow, right? If that's like take care of your image, right? And there's a lot of other things on there, but it's just mentally getting over the fact that everyone leaves their house every day and has conversations with the real world. Right. No matter if you're an agent or an entrepreneur, you're out. Some people say, I hate how I look or I hate how I sound. It's like, well, you don't just hide in your home. You're leaving
you do this.
Your home.
You're just now realizing it and seeing it because some people don't recognize their own voice when they hear it because it sounds different than when you just hear it recorded.
That's how the world sees you. So
it's every day. You just need to look in the mirror and realize that.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it works well. So it gets them into the funnel for something that's free.
Right.
So it's a really, really even exchange. I want your email. You get a free course. And then by the time they go through the free course, wow, I really liked how this was produced, the quality, and then what I got. And then they can be a customer somewhere else,
Yeah, can shoot it back. So you've been in the St. Pete area for the last 4 years now. It's transformed a little bit. What are some things that you've seen change since you've been here?
Man, there's just so much. There's so many new developments going on. And for us, it's cool because we're involved in a lot of the growth. Like when a new building's being built, we'll get called to do drone capture of it or, be involved. It's just constantly on the rise.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things about St. Pete is the amazing lifestyle and community we have
Yeah.
here.
What attracted you to this? I mean, I know you said your sister was out.
It was that. It was the lifestyle.
Yeah.
It was, but I mean, I was coming here for my sister being here. So
Right.
I got exposed to the boating lifestyle, and the fitness lifestyle and the beach. I would come to the beach almost every weekend and for a day trip from Lakeland. So I knew this is where I wanted to be. And the community here is so amazing. Like within the first summer I was here, I feel like I met everybody that was doing something cool in the city.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
The communities here are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even been here 2 years yet, and the communities I've been able to tap into are unbelievable. And everyone's at this higher level of thinking of biohacking and and we have
It's
all
a healthy
these
city.
things.
Yeah.
Super healthy city.
Yeah. And it's spread out too. That's one thing I was trying to explain to some friends is that like when I first moved here, I lived in an area called Woodlawn, just outside of Old Northeast.
I know it well.
So I was in that area. So I was in downtown a lot, North Shore Park a lot, playing volleyball a lot. That's where I met Jason Lapiana, a movement coach, and I was on my bike or my one wheel just cruising down all the time down there. Well, when I moved over here to Treasure Island area, it's an entirely different area. I almost never go back downtown unless it's for a meeting or a dinner.
Right.
But then I'm meeting a complete different community here, or the community that's in Gulfport or in Tierra Verde. So it's like St. Pete's so big and so spread out that I feel like I'm just scratching the surface of the networking here and what people are doing.
Yeah, and there's little niches everywhere in all these little different
and we
pockets.
go out to the island sandbars a lot, and we meet people. Every time we go, we have a lot of friends who have boats, and you meet someone else, and the coolest connecting stories. Like, guy's got a gorgeous $1 million boat, and I talk to him, hey, what do you do? Oh, I own one of the largest dredging companies here in the area, and 14 Domino's franchises, and a few of these restaurants, and you want to do lunch next week and talk about it? And it's like, of course. And that's what I love so much about this community. There's just so many people here.
Yeah, St. Pete lets you come as you are.
Yeah, that's it.
And everyone's super accepting of that, which is really cool. What are some things that you think the city's missing?
A High Line, First Avenue South, just like Gandhi does.
Right.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest deterrent of the city is the traffic. So if you were going to leave where we are right now on Treasure Island and you were going to get to the one building in downtown St. Pete, how long do you think that would take you?
25, 30 minutes.
That's it.
Yep.
And it's 3 miles, 4 miles, maybe 5.
Yeah.
It's visible. You can see it. So if we got on the Hotel Fusion roof right here, you can see the one building. It's right there. But the time it takes to get across.
And it's only going to get, I mean, it's a good, I think the growth is great, but the traffic is only going to get worse as more buildings are finished downtown, and we're adding, 1,000 new residents in a tiny area. And
I don't know if they can make a High Line, but I feel like that's what it needs, is a way to get across east to west of the city.
Yeah. That would be crazy if they could.
Yeah. The bus was cool. I think that was meant in there, extending the lanes, but I mean, that's it. St. Pete's got it going on besides that. The communities here are amazing. There's so many new restaurants. The food is endless. The dog friendliness is amazing, and it's been really receptive. Me running a business here, we've gotten so many clients here in St. Pete. So
that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad to hear. I love hearing people's success stories. And you mentioned a couple people that we knew, and you said from listening to the podcast that you went and had a Gateway sub.
Yeah, that's
Shout
so
out
cool
to
think about how this works, right? I started following the show because I followed you previously. And I started following the show, and I saw, was it Grant? Was his name?
Yep, Grant Strayer.
He was talking about how he puts chips on subs. Immediately, I thought about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that scene where he's eating the chips. And right away, I'm like, I want that. I was there the next day, just because I'm like, I had looked up, I know where this is at. I pass by there sometimes, and I was like, let's just go. I would never have noticed it before.
And so what's the verdict? Is it better than
it was
pub sub?
amazing. Yeah. It was close to a pub sub.
Close.
Yeah, pub subs are like such a thing for me on every boat day of my life.
Right,
but yeah, it was really good.
It did.
It was
nice.
delicious.
Shout out to Grant and his story. If you haven't seen that episode, it's really good. His story and how he opened his shop with like limited technology in a 21st century is just Grant's
awesome.
Cool guy. Yeah,
it's the way that you can expose people with what you're doing here. You're giving people a voice for their business, and so it's like that's one of the things.
It's happening way faster than we had anticipated, and organically, and we're super grateful.
Yeah,
we're super grateful.
I think you're realizing what we were just saying off air was that people right now, content is currency, right? And well-produced content is high-value currency. So when you're able to give someone a framing to say something that's coming out authentically and clip it and cut it for them, people will jump at the chance for that.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all just attention and giving people the platform to share. And I think our community, that my whole thing with this was how to let the community have a bigger voice, right? Because you
Helping
see
people.
Gateway Subs, you see Mason Glow, you see what all these businesses, but what's the story behind them? Or who's the guy walking down the street? You know, meet Tony, and you'd have no idea just from seeing him that he owns this, marketing company that helps all the other businesses that are around here.
Right.
You know, so that's what this is all about, just to make the community even more authentic and know the backstories of those who are movers and shakers.
And what you just said is that's one of the most special parts about what we do with 8limbs Creative that I love is that when you think about this, we're always B2B. So every time, and like right now, we are very real estate focused. Work with real estate agents, real estate brokers, investors, verbos, anything shooting homes and properties and branding. But we did a lot of commercial production in the beginning.
Yeah, so
you're dealing with businesses. So every person that would hire me was the founding person of a business. So for the first 8 years in business, I got like free coaching and consulting from every client because I'm asking them a million questions about how they built their business and most importantly, how they got a business they built to the point of having a budget for advertising. That's most businesses' biggest failure is they build a business with the aesthetic and the clout and the flex and everything on the front end. But when it comes time to advertise, they never set aside a budget for it. So they try to do it the old fashioned way. And you can't break through. You need a lot of acceleration to take off as a plane.
Yeah.
And so when businesses did, and they had money for branding and advertising, it's like, hey, you did something right. What was it? So I got to meet so many amazing entrepreneurs and realize like how much they'll fight for their thing. Like they will fight. It's a cold day in hell before someone takes it from them and they like fought to build it.
Well, building a business is like having a child.
Yeah.
And raising it from the ground up, and it becomes your baby. That's how this podcast is for us. You know, it's one of every little adventure, and we're always tweaking and fine tuning of how we do everything. So through your years here with business, what are some big takeaways or lessons that you've learned either the hard way or just from wisdom that you gained through some others?
In my business or I think in the sense of being vulnerable, I think the biggest lesson I learned in my business is I'm not the guy that should be talking to clients. And so
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more. Tell me more about that.
I'm not the most I'm not customer service Shirley on the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like like you said, I'm full energy, I'm fast moving, and I'm a very kind of aggressive at how I approach my life. And so when we would service, let's just say the typical real estate agent as a client, and I was the one talking to them, if I talked to them to book them and then the media was delivered and they would call back and they would ask like, I can't download it from Google Drive. My phone won't let me post it. Facebook's being weird. And they'd put all those problems on me. I would just kind of be like, where do you feel like this is my responsibility? Like to run your social media as well, right? So it was like, I started to feel my patience meter wearing down, but as far as delivering, we were there. But it's the maintaining and the nurturing of the clients that I was like, I'm not the guy for this. Like, this is not my personality. So when I hired someone, a female, very sweet, dedicated to that role, it immediately showed in our business and our revenue. The amount of repeat business, the amount of bookings, and now her entire job, booking, delivering, and dealing with these clients' problems. And they have a lot of them, but that's all she does. And so that was a big lesson. It's like, know where you're best suited for. What I'm best suited for is zooming out with a 1,000-foot view, the big picture, and getting us in front of places and getting our clients in the door. After that,
let go. After
that,
build the team out. Yeah.
The second side of it, lessons that I think people need to understand if you're running a business is set aside an advertising budget. It's going to be very, very hard to run a business if you don't have some money to advertise. That could be print, that could be paying for podcast sponsors, that could be video, that could be Facebook ads, but you have to get exposure in the business. It's like life is like an algorithm, just like Amazon, Instagram, Facebook. When something launches, you need to make it be an explosive launch. The plane needs speed to take off, and then it can cruise.
Right.
So,
are you using ChatGPT?
Of course, yeah.
What do you think of that, and where do you think it's going?
I don't follow too much about where it's going. We use it for what we use it for.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to replace your jobs unless you're just mediocre at your job. So if you're just like one of those people that is like kind of like pretending like you're in the room, one of those people that's not contributing, yeah, you should be worried. But right now we use it for writing out captions, descriptions, email headlines. We send 2 emails out every single day with both our businesses, educating our agents. ChatGPT writes most of that with their framing. What I have learned is the more detail you give it, the better it does. So if you give it a 1-sentence instruction, that's one thing. But if I say, write me an Instagram caption for a podcast sponsored ad about cold plunge for a hybrid athlete fitness influence, 38 years old with an audience of this, everything, it will spit it out for you.
It is crazy, and I think I love that you said that, and I love that the direction of this conversation is because I think with an AI and a tool like that, knowledge doesn't become as powerful as the ability to ask a good question.
Yeah, well said.
Because you are now have not only has the information been at our fingertips, it now can be presented to you in a way that's digestible instead of going through 10 different links to find it. And so the better you can ask a question, the better response you will get. And so now I think we're going to shift into a world where those who ask better questions will get better results, as it always has been that way. But now it's immediate.
That's amazing. My jiu-jitsu coach would actually say something so similar to his thought about that. And he would always be like, it's just about asking better questions. And he would mean of ourselves.
Right.
But he would be like, hey, just don't be, it's not about that. It's about asking better questions. And he always be like, if you had a really bad training day, you got to ask yourself, not like, why did that guy do that? It's like, why was I in the position to get my guard passed like that or whatever? It's so true.
Yeah.
Life is about asking questions, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because what happens when you have either a little earpiece or your glasses and you can ask something and it's giving you the prompt of, I ask, say, okay, what's a question I can ask Tony about jiu-jitsu, about like whatever you say, and it's hearing and it's giving
that
me.
would be a life hack for sure. If you
think about it. You don't think it's coming? Like it definitely is.
Sure, it probably is.
It definitely is, where you have information that's going to be presented to you from every conversation that you're having and formatted in a way to where you can contribute and it's seamless. So now who's really doing the talking?
That's so true.
I don't know.
That's going to be interesting.
A little thought experiment.
Yeah.
To think about with the future of stuff
For
like
real.
that. Yeah.
I want to add the third piece because those are important. The business mistakes I see.
Yep.
So number one, number two, number three would be they need to, if you're a business owner, this is huge. If you're an agent, if you own a smoothie shop, if you own a sandwich shop, facial, car dealership, whatever, you need to become the attractive character in the story. So you need to have a face, and you are going to speak on your business better than anyone else because you have the passion and you know where it's headed. So you need to be a face with your business. You can't be a faceless, and that's one of the biggest things is like the people who are the ones who, they're the ones behind that are pushing the needle and they're pulling the switches. Get on camera and talk about any part of it, how you built it, what you do for your clients, whatever. There's limitless ways to do that, but like getting yourself on camera and turning yourself, because they can feel the passion in how you speak.
I can agree with that. And as you were saying that, I was trying to think of big examples, because then you have brand, right? And there's plenty of brands that don't have a face, but then there's plenty of big brands that do. And you can think of like, what would Tesla be without Elon Musk?
Oh, that's what I mean. He's the attractive character.
Right. But then I thought of Nike. Yeah. And Nike's so big and so powerful. Who's the face of Nike?
They find attractive characters. Serena Williams was for a while.
Right.
They bring them in. So you need attractive characters.
Right.
Right.
No, definitely. No, I'm glad
you think Gary Vee, Russell Brunson, these people like, are you going to the RiseCon, by the way? That's going to be in Tampa.
I am not.
No? Have you heard about it yet?
I think this is the first time.
Let's
right now.
break the ice. Okay, cool. So you familiar with who Vic Tipnis is?
No.
He owns a large medical company in Tampa. Local entrepreneur, like 2 million followers.
This is Talkin St. Pete, buddy. I don't know much about Tampa. I'm just being honest.
Cool. He's in the area. So
yeah.
he's putting together a huge entrepreneur conference called RiseCon.
Okay.
I actually was brought in to consult on the advertising for this. So Grant Cardone, David Goggins, Rick Ross. There's going to be some huge name speakers at this event. It's a 3-day event in Tampa. If you guys are interested, send me a DM. I can actually give you guys a discount on admission, but it's going to be a huge event.
When is
in Tampa.
This?
It's going to be in July.
Okay.
Huge event. Some of the biggest names out there, but it's like, that's one of the topics is like how to build yourself into a personal brand. It's like any business. For instance, I'm not sure if do you know who Summer Wilson is? She's local. She owns, I think, Summer Builds things or Summer Designs things. It's like an interior design company.
I probably need to know about it.
She just started it. She's a friend of mine. She just started her business, but she was a previous NFL cheerleader.
Okay.
And she was able to quickly put herself in that frame with the new social media account, and the business is blowing up because of that. Because she's on camera almost every day showing how she paints these designs into walls.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, her content's killing it.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
She's someone that should probably be on here, and she's going to be great on the show. But being the attractive character is just what people just forget about. And that's in any industry. But I talk to a lot of business owners, right? 80% of them don't end up becoming clients, most often because they're not willing to make the investment to do it. They call because they're interested, but then it's usually just out of the point where they're ready to commit.
Right.
But it's that, or they tell themselves, I want to do this without me having to get on camera. And it's just really hard. You can hire a paid actor to speak for you,
Yeah.
but that's once.
But
What about every day, you know?
it's tough. It's tough. You definitely need to, I mean, in this world, we have to be on video
All the time.
to be.
And that is why 8limbs Creative is what it is.
Yeah.
I think we do a lot of research on this, and my team understands this. This was back last year when I was like, hey, like we're really going to do this. We're going to be the real estate media agency. I think we're the only real estate media company that has anybody that is behind the scenes in front of the camera. So my whole team, we're in front of the cameras constantly. I'm on camera a lot with our clients. I do co-presenting of luxury with our agents, walking through homes. We teach them how to be on camera by being on camera. And almost every other media company, the persons or the people that run it are always behind. So their brand is just their logo. It's not a personality. It's not, and it's really hard to grow something like that.
Yeah. No, valid. This whole RiseCon thing, we'll have to connect after that. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, RiseCon's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that been something that's been going on?
It's the first
year?
one in Tampa, and
Okay,
it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a huge entrepreneur event. I mean, it's definitely not cheap. Just to give you guys the heads up, because I've sent to a few friends who are like gouging with the prices. The lowest ticket is $800, and it goes up to $10,000 for a ticket.
Right. For that.
The one that I got, the $10,000 ticket is like the super premium when you get a dinner with Grant Cardone, all this stuff. But the one that I went for was like $1,800, and that is the gold level where you get to go to the private room. It's just going to be amazing networking because anybody involved in business in Tampa is going to be there.
Right.
And that's what I have learned for sure from St. Pete. Why St. Pete is like so special to my heart is moving here. When I moved here from Lakeland, I connected with so many people that are the same age as me. And we connected through the fitness fam connection. Oh, you go to the gym. I saw you at the gym. I met you here playing volleyball. So that was our first connection. But then you get to know them. And they're very business savvy and very ambitious and very well connected. And it was like the amount of people here that are reaching and achieving and going for more.
Yeah. Have you been to
so
Sweat
much
yet?
different. Sweat? I haven't been to Sweat. I met Jody. I know a lot of people that go there, but I have not been there.
What's holding you back, buddy?
I'm a solo guy.
Yeah.
I'm a solo workout.
All right.
You saw my workout.
Yeah. I know you're talking about the cardio though. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you get it. We got
I push
after it this morning.
I've got a home gym that's super stocked up, everything
Yeah.
I need. I go to the jiu-jitsu to be coach, and in the jiu-jitsu room, I'll be coached by a coach, and I'll get yelled at, and I'll be told what to do.
Right.
I think I only have so much of that in me.
Yeah.
So like when I go to gyms, like Jason was a coach I hired, and it was like a one-on-one session. But I've never really enjoyed the sessions where I'm in a big room and people are telling me what to do and racing the clock.
Right.
And some people love that; they need it, and that brings them in, and that gets the community. But for me, I know my.
Yeah. Not
I know
your
myself.
stick. Yeah.
Yeah, get on a road bike, go for 2 hours of headphones. That's my vibe. Or get in the garage gym and just sling the kettlebells
Locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cardio is super important.
Yep.
Got to keep after it.
Have you ever done jiu-jitsu before? I have to ask you.
No. I wrestled in high school.
Okay, so you know about rolling.
Yeah. And so one of my buddies, Dan Apke, shout out to that guy, cool guy. I actually need to get him on here. He is into jiu-jitsu, and I went to his gym, Inside Control, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
And they have a wrestling practice in the morning
Yeah.
at like 7.
I did a commercial for them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think I went to their wrestling practice once, and I realized like I feel like I'm in pretty good shape from fitness, but I forgot that wrestling is a totally different cardio.
Do you know why that is?
No, but tell me.
There's two reasons for that, and I'm just experiencing it. Why? Right? I took a year off.
Yeah.
I had an injury that took me. So I've been jiu-jitsu for 17 years, and I got my black belt in 2016. So I achieved the highest rank in the sport, which is 2% of people actually make it there. That's not a brag. That's just saying I put my body through a roadmap of injury to get there. And I took a year off because I had a nerve injury, which I was seeing a specialist here, Kyra RX, Jake. Shout out to him because he's a client of ours. You know who he is?
No.
He's a local business right there in Woodlawn. Awesome physiotherapist and chiropractor, does acupuncture on me. He helped me rehab back over a year. I went back into training, and my cardio was zapped. Not
Gone.
My cardio wasn't zapped in life. If I do something like play volleyball, ride a bike, work out, I felt fine.
Right.
So I'm like, what's going on? I didn't let myself get out of shape. Two aspects with a combat sport, especially something like grappling, opposed to Muay Thai or kickboxing, is that it's breathing disruptive. So if I'm going to go take you down and taking me down, I'm grabbing you, I'm squeezing you. And now when I go to move your core and twist you, you can't take a full inhale now. So you're getting you're getting a partial breath. And then if I'm on top of you, my shoulders and your lungs all my weight. And so you're getting partial. And then there's the adrenaline rush of fight or flight, because you're like, this person's actually on me trying to do something to me. That kicks on hard. And then there's the breathing disruption. So it's its own cardio. We would have, the years that I trained in Lakeland, we would have high level college swimmers, triathletes, CrossFit athletes that are peak condition gas out on the mat.
Oh yeah.
Because there's nothing that compares you for it.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing. And I do enjoy it. I love rolling. Messing around and getting out there. But boy, I was zapped.
Yeah.
Zapped
It's good to get like that once in a while.
Oh
right?
yeah. It was one of those things of like, I might die on this mat.
Yeah, when it starts closing in.
The circles come in, you're like, oh my God. Yeah.
That's that famous Muhammad Ali quote that he was like, fatigue makes cowards of any man.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, no matter how alpha male, wealthy, successful, executive, no matter what, any status you are, when you're completely exhausted, you still feel just as weak as a 3-year-old child. You
for
don't
sure.
have anything in you anymore.
For sure. I joke, they say I'm like a Ferrari. I can run fast. You put some bad gas in there, or I get to tires running. Oh man, I'm running. I'm done. I'm done.
I like that.
Yeah.
What is your fitness style?
I'd sweat 6 days a week almost.
Okay.
6 a.m.
So it's HIIT conditioning.
Yeah, but there's lift classes in there. So
Okay.
there's days where it's not so much conditioning. That for me is I'm very busy, so I don't want to think about my workout, and that's why I like the group classes because I can show up, know I'm gonna have a great workout. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan it. I don't have to do anything. So that's been my thing, and then little volleyball here, and just everything active from there. But sweat has kept me consistent and locked in a way that's still like that athlete of like going to practice and you're like pushing through, trying to get better, lift the heavier weight, beat your buddy next to you.
I love it. I think sweat, by the way, I know a lot about it from the outside. I have a lot of friends who train there. Summer, who I was mentioning, she works out there.
Okay.
Summer Wilson,
that maybe
right?
how I seen her stuff.
And I met Jody before, and I really for a HIIT gym, because I did a lot of gym marketing for a lot of years. They've got a really cool culture there. Very dedicated, very loyal incredible. Culture, beautiful aesthetic of a gym. And those are like sweat for you guys is exactly what jiu-jitsu is for all of us.
Yeah,
where it's
for
like
sure.
It's your tribe, it's your team.
100%.
You're going through a little bit of hell together that a coach is leading it, and you're all doing the same miserable workout. And then after you're done, you're so happy, and you're like, bro, we crushed that.
Great job.
There's something really special about tribe fitness like that, that keeps you in it for years. And that's what I was saying yesterday on my Instagram story. I was like, skill fitness over fitness. And the reason I'm saying that, and I consider that skill fitness, because when you're doing things where you're having to learn kettlebells, you have to learn a form now. It's not just mindless machine lifting.
No.
Anytime you're doing something where you're applying skill in your mind's Rubik's Cube is active and your body's going, it's going to make you more addicted to the activity. And so fitness becomes a pulling force rather than something where you have to make yourself go. You're like, I really want to go tomorrow. Can it be tomorrow already? Can it be 4? You're starting to get excited about it.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up jiu-jitsu. It's something that's been on my radar for probably 4 or 5 years.
I could feel that in you, actually.
Yeah, because of wrestling and that, and I knew I would enjoy the chess game that it is a lot, just like other like wrestling, but. The injury thing, it keeps me back because I know that it is. I mean, whether you say, well, it's how the probability is higher, but then I say that and I like to go skydiving. So, like, it's.
So, can I comment on those things?
Yeah, of course. Okay.
So, first of all, I come to the camera and say this. I can promise you guys this: martial arts, most importantly, jiu-jitsu, will be the greatest confidence builder you will ever do in your life. Business success doesn't touch it. Getting a pretty girl or a hot guy doesn't touch it. Like finishing like a 5K run. I'm talking about when you can physically handle yourself and that, it changes the entire way you interact with the world. And so something I learned about from buddies, I have a lot of entrepreneur friends who are alpha males and they make money, but they don't train martial arts. They almost always have this sense of like they size other guys up and they're sizing people up and they're like, what's this guy's problem? Why is he looking at me? And it's like, you're interpreting that energy wrong, dude. Yeah. When you can get to the point where you physically just know, like, hey, I'm incredibly hard to hold down. That's the first and foremost. That's one of the first things. No one's gonna like get me, right? It's not about you moving forward and beating someone up. It's like no one's gonna be able to beat me up.
Yeah, it's more of a self-defense.
Once you have that, you can interact kinder and nicer, and you can hold eye contact with the guy and not be nervous. And what if he's rude? You're like, what's up, man? You make more friends like that, right? It's been the greatest catalyst of my entire life, and it's why I have the energy that I have is from what I learned in those mats. And plus, it's like it puts you in this perspective where jiu-jitsu is a full-on sparring sport. Like you're saying with injuries, I did Muay Thai at Kaizen, love Kaizen. I have a boxing coach now that comes to my house once a week and holds pads for me. Striking's awesome, but sparring is not real sparring because if you're striking sparring, you have to hold back.
Right.
Like if me and you put gloves and shin pads on, it would be absolutely ludicrous for us to throw knockout punches, even with gloves, because why am I going to give you a concussion or a headache for the whole day? Broken nose, it's like that you can't sustain. We couldn't do that tomorrow. We couldn't do it next week. We're hurt now. So jiu-jitsu is the only martial art where you can go full on in sparring And when things get bad, you just tap and it stops. Right. And so you're able to experience that adrenaline dump and that fight speed. And you're a small guy. You're going with the big guy. You're a big guy. You're going with the small guy. You're a girl. You're going with the guy. You get all different body types and mixtures and how they move and
realize how much technique.
Yes. Whose body's stiff? Whose body's limber? What is the long leg guy deal? How is it to deal with him? Right.
Yeah.
You learn all that. And so I was actually on my sauna this morning listening to a Jocko Willink podcast. And he was talking about jiu-jitsu, kind of what you just said. And it's the number one reason that people get hurt in jiu-jitsu, and I agree with this after 17 years of doing it, is it's on the count of the person that's resisting. They're over-resisting. Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%.
So, and not to pick on you because you're a wrestler, it's actually a really good thing. Wrestlers already have a huge advantage when they come into the mat. They have what we call mat sense. They know their balance. They know where they're at on the mat. But they will fight so hard going to their back. Because that's how they're like, this is me losing. And so the difference in jiu-jitsu is you're there to train and learn. But if let's just say like I'm rolling with the guy, and I'm not the best example because I'm not gonna force a submission on somebody, but I'm rolling with the guy that's like 200 pounds. I'm 215, and he wrestled, and he's like 23, and he's like full of testosterone. You know that gym bro, the gym Chad,
of course.
And I'm going for a submission, and he is resisting with 110% level 9 psychopath resistance. He's grunting, he's going crazy. Now I'm going for an armbar, and I'm slowly going for the armbar, and he just freaks out and explodes his body out, and he extends his own arm and hurts himself. That happens more than anything. The person with skill is just going to be applying a controlled, slower submission to say, hey, this is where these come from. We're just training. I'm not your enemy.
Right.
And it's the people that freak out on the mat. Yeah. So when people come in with a very learning, studious mindset and they just slap hands, bump knuckles, and they just start to roll, they'll learn so quickly because they're like, hey, you got me. Nice, you got me. Cool, tap. The quicker you tap, then you learn, and you can stay in it. And then after a while, the injuries only happen at random. Like you might tweak your knee after a year, and that's just like a random thing. No one's fault. Oh, it just moved weird.
Yeah.
Ice bath. Hence the ice bath, right?
Have you done PMF, Matt?
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of it?
I've done it.
Oh, yeah. So Jay, my buddy Jay, is always talking about it. It's a grounding mat, right?
Well, this place Vitality I'm talking about has one. And dude, it is, if you haven't done it, it is incredible what it does. And everyone feels it different in a different spot in their body when they lay on it.
He sells one. He's got a sponsorship. He's always talking about it.
Yeah.
So I need to check it out.
You need Vitality St. Pete is a new spot that
But it's a grounding mat, right? It's a grounding charge.
They have this whole thing. It's like a $40,000 machine. This is like the Mac
He's
Daddy.
got one on his couch.
No. This is the Mac Daddy one, dude. Your whole body's like convulsing when you're laying on this thing. It's like a massive TENS unit, but it's massaging you with electromagnetic things. And like for me, I feel it in my hips and my lower back.
No, I love that.
All like intense, where someone else will feel it like, oh, I feel it in my calves, or I feel it in my shoulders, or wherever when you're laying on it. And they have a piece that can like you can put around your knee, so you can really target a certain area that's injured. And my left knee was a little bummed, and 30 minutes with that thing wrapped around it, I got up and I did a couple squats. Couldn't feel the pain that I was feeling 30 minutes prior to when I got on. Yeah, it's
amazing.
It's incredible.
We live in the best time. I was just saying this to the guy who owns the gym I train at, which the gym that I train jiu-jitsu at, guys, if you want to try it, it's called Supremacy. It's just north in like Largo. Supremacy BJJ. Rodrigo Greno is an amazing coach
make
there.
a hike to get up there.
It's not too far from where I live. It's like 17-minute drive. Take Park Street straight down, and it's a very light red light road. They're sprinkled throughout. But I was just telling him yesterday. It's like he's 39, I'm 39, and we're at this point where the injuries have set in. Luckily, I was doing jiu-jitsu during the Joe Rogan era. So I've been watching Rogan's podcast since it started. And he was like the father to so many things: bow hunting, jiu-jitsu. Well, we're just talking about float tank therapy. Yep. He's exposed people. So at that time, because of a podcast like his, I was like, whoa, there's this type of therapy. Oh, what's yoga? Should I do this? Oh, breath work. Should I try this? Float tank, cryotherapy. And I'm the type that I'm so curious and I want to live forever. So I do it all. And so PMF therapy, I'm definitely going to try this place out.
You need
it's
to.
Like,
it's incredible.
I always tell this is like, that's one of the people who say like, the people who I know who are the athletes dedicated to volleyball, jiu-jitsu, fighting, whatever it is, they can kind of become like their sport junkie where they're throwing off making money. They're like, I just want to do my sport. I don't care. I can be a beach bum. I don't need more than this. But I'm like, hey, like, don't you want to be able to afford the therapies? Don't you want to be able to afford stem cells when it's time and afford to eat the clean food and afford the conditioning trainers and the massage therapists? Because when the body breaks, then depression really sets in because now you can't even do your thing,
Oh, yeah. I tweaked my back a little bit the other day, and man, I'm like, I immediately felt older.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, we ignore health until we lose it, and then that's all we focus on until we get it back.
Oh yeah. I wake up every day very grateful, and I tell people, because I coaching a lot of people as well, and I say health is wealth. It has to be first.
Huge.
Has to be first.
100%.
Because without it, it don't matter how much money is in your bank account. Does not matter.
Huge.
You gotta take care of it.
Something that I have a hard time with too, and this is this could be controversial, but I'm known for those types of subjects, is that I have a really hard time viewing someone as like a mentor if they haven't kept their health. And so I know a lot of people, and I do have respect for them in business that have made their 30, 40, 50, $100 million in business. And I have some mentors now.
Yeah.
And I don't hold this back when I speak to them, but they're in very bad physical condition to get there. And I wouldn't trade it. So if someone told me, hey, you have to trade bodies with this guy, but you get $80 million, I swear I would not make the trade. I wouldn't. You would never get the body back after the state that they're in. And so I realized that I do value that more than money. Of course, I love money. I love business. And, I do want that 7-figure year too. But it's not the thing that I'm going to put all my focus in. The health is number one, quality of life. And
it has to be. That's why we got to do
your
the first
surefire
thing.
way to depression is letting your health go and letting yourself be the guy who doesn't want to take your shirt off at the pool and isn't comfortable with how you move and is always in pain and has no energy to play with your kids. I have a 4-year-old daughter. That's a lot of energy. She wants to play. She wants to have a bike seat. She wants to ride bikes. She wants to do all this crazy stuff all the time. And it's like, after a workout and then a jiu session and client calls, it's like sometimes I can be low energy. And I go, this is why you're in shape, dude. Just pull the energy out somewhere and go be a dad.
Right.
You know?
You got to find it. You wear all the hats, and that's probably one of the most important ones right there.
Yeah. What kind of supplementation are you into?
Not a lot.
Take any brain supplements?
No.
You open to it?
I have before.
I brought you a present. The one that
yeah?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would love it.
Okay,
I love it. I'm open to it. Yeah, let me see what this bad boy is. Yeah.
So this is a product. It is called Newtopia. This is a really cool product. So when I first started, I was working with On It. Alpha Brain was their main product, and it's a nootropic. It's a brain supplement. Okay. I'm going to preface this in a second.
Yeah.
When I started doing the media at Biohack Studios, if you guys are in St. Pete, you need to check out Biohack Studios. Jack Lowenstein, Biohack Zach, is one of my best friends in the world, man. He's like a little brother to me. Yeah. He runs a studio. So Zach's actually the reason I connected with this brand. So Zach went to a conference in Miami for biohackers. Met the owner, Matt Gallant. Matt is an incredible dude. Been on my podcast twice. Me and him we're going to actually be producing our own product this year. It's a secret little thing, but it's going to be for the combat sports community.
Cool.
So he connected me with them. So Matt Gallant is a very successful entrepreneur, owns BioOptimizers. They're the main brand. They're very large, all over social media. They make some of the best like magnesium, digestive stuff. It's not like your gym bro pre-workout. It's all very healthy, biohacker style stuff, right?
Natural.
So this was a cool product. So Matt, multimillionaire, got a bunch of multimillionaire friends, high-level entrepreneurs. This guy's office, when we do podcasts, just how cool his office is like office goals for me. I'm like, dude, you're such a badass, you know?
Nice.
But he saw the movie Limitless. After seeing Limitless, was like, I want to make something like that in real life. So they put millions of dollars in the research of this product. So Newtopia is about $3.97 for a box. It's not a cheap product, and there's 12 compounds in it. So this is actually their old box model. The podcast sponsor I have shows their new box model, but I wanted to bring it to you as a gift. It's still the same product.
Yeah, I appreciate
They just
that.
present it differently on inside.
Yeah.
But it'll show you the actual effects that you'll feel from taking the product. These are sprays, some are drink mixtures, and some are capsules within a capsule. Slow release. There's no stimulants. Nothing's going to have you feeling crazy. But some of the highest end nootropics I've ever taken.
So it's you spray it in your mouth?
Those are sprays. There's an oral spray, and that helps verbal fluency, articulation. That's a very quick release. Some of these you mix in water bottles.
You could use this before the podcast.
Verbal That's why I brought it to you guys. You guys keep it in here and you keep it.
Sometimes I'm tripping over my words, man. Central Pennsylvania boy out here trying to talk.
Actually, their new box and how they have it set up, I'll give that to you over there, is really cool. I'll show you on my phone later how they do it. It's actually... It's a little bit less hassle. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Dude, that's awesome. I really do appreciate
Products like that are huge. And again, anything you can do to optimize, do it. That's my whole thing.
That's 1% better every day. It's one of my models. I mean, from Atomic Habits, James Clear.
I love that book.
Yeah, fantastic book. And that's my thing. Is how can I get 1% better? Got really big goals. And
I can tell.
To break them down, by the it's like, okay, if we're not getting better, if we're not growing, we're dying.
That's it. No, that is exactly it. Yeah. It's like if you don't fight for, and man, as we all know, and like me being a little bit older now, it's like the voice inside that wants you to just go sit down, eat the candy.
It's optimism and
longer.
Doubt and constant conflict.
Yeah, it never stops.
Yeah,
it really never stops. Like people. This is one of the biggest bubble bursts that I deal. I meet people in life all the time that follow me on social media, and I don't know them, and they'll be like, "Hey, I follow you. Been following you for a while. Super motivational, dude. Do you ever slow down?" Da, da, da. And I'm like, it's crazy what they think that I am, because this like, if you knew the battles that I had in my head, like I wake up every day and that ice bath still kills me to look at. I'm like, I don't want to get in there. The workout sometimes, and it's like, it really, really never stops. So what I've learned is, and I have a really, really, really important mentor in my life. His name is Brian Germain. Brian Germain he was on the 1988 Judo Olympic team for the USA. He is like Captain America. This guy's 62 years old now. He's been a coach of mine in jiu-jitsu. He was a teammate of our jiu-jitsu team, but he became like a secondary coach to all of us. Very successful real estate investor. So he just trained because that's his life. His wife was like she competes in this super high-end senior game swimming. Both his kids are college athletes, and he's just a beast. For his 60th birthday, we rode 60 miles on road bikes. That was what he wanted to do.
That's cool.
He's like a 7-time jiu-jitsu world champion, has taken incredible care of his health for his late years, and he just has that mentality. And he would always tell us, he's like, your fitness is like a giant boulder. And if you let it stop rolling for a second, you're never going to keep going. Your mindset. So he's just like, you have to keep going. You can't take more than a day or two off. Take a day or two to reset, but don't take that week. If you go on vacation, stay working out. Stay doing the hard shit. Stay reading.
You have to. I was feeling, so I was gone. I was in Orlando yesterday for a training. I was at another training in Valrico on Tuesday. They were both started very early, messed up my whole 6 a.m. thing. And yesterday afternoon, I'm sitting, I'm like, man, I'm just off. Like, this is incredible content that we're learning, but it's just not, it's like pinging off my head, just not absorbing.
Yeah.
It's rare that I ever look at the clock thinking, oh, when is this going to be over? And I had that yesterday, and I was like, oh, you didn't work out this morning. You didn't have your normal thing. Like, totally. Back to the Ferrari thing. I had some bad gas in the tank, and it's crazy what it does today. Yeah.
Newtopia will help with that.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's the solution to not doing those things. Those are very important.
Right.
But if I have to, like, I'm huge on studying courses. So I have an online course that I sell, but I do that because I've bought probably 40 over the years. And I'm the kind, like, if I see a course and it's $800, I'll buy it on a whim, binge watch it on my computer, have that, and then take action on it. I'm the type that actually gets through the course quickly.
Right.
So I have like a stack that I'll take, and I'll take Upbeat and Nectar, combine them together and that, and just locks me in. And it's like, you can hyper consume information.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like a sensation, like Adderall, which I don't endorse people taking. So that's a much healthier option than herbal based option.
That's intriguing. And, you know, I study and listen to a lot of Andrew Huberman, Sam Harris, with all the, you know, neuroscience and all that. And one thing there is knowing that you can only have like 90 minutes of concentrated focus before you need a break. Yeah. And that's what, like, with that class I was in yesterday, was from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's just too long to absorb all that information.
I agree. No, I agree.
So I feel it. I love
Huberman. One on the same subject. I don't want to drift too much, but the bed that Huberman convinced me to buy has changed my life, and I have to talk about it in the show because you guys don't know about it. So
yeah, I don't care. Look, this conversation, we've gone all over the place, but it's been a lot of good topics.
So 8 Sleep. Okay, is the name of this bed.
8
Sleep. Not to be confused with 8limbs Creative, but it's 8 Sleep, but it's 8 with the word 8 Sleep. So Andrew Huberman's a sponsor on this podcast, and it's, dude, Performance Sleep Mattress is a super high-end bed that's really big in the CrossFit athletic community. They're a client of ours, so we did the media for Performance Sleep Mattress. They're a cooling mattress. They ship to your, you know, it's one of those that expands big, but it's a high-end mattress. That's what I have as my bed. 8 Sleep has 2 options. They make a bed itself. They make a mattress cover with a computer-style unit tower and water hoses. That's what I bought. So it's like $2,400 and it covers your bed. My buddy Jay just bought one too after I couldn't stop bragging about it.
So it's got water pumping through it?
Yes, water pumping through it. It's incredible what it does. So I used to wear Whoop and I used to wear Oura Ring.
I had a Whoop for a while.
It replaces those.
Okay.
Whoop, I didn't like it because Whoop made me too obsessed with the data.
Yeah.
Me and Zach and all these athletes were in this group thing, and I was like too annoyed. I'm like, I would wake up and Whoop would show me red, and it was basically like, your day is supposed to suck today. And I was like, no, it's not.
I stopped wearing it.
No, it's not. I feel great.
That's the exact reason I stopped wearing it.
8 Sleep is a bed that keeps you cool. So the whole idea is that, and this is, Huberman explains it much more eloquently, your body needs to drop in temperature that makes you sleepy, and it needs to maintain a lower temperature at night while you're sleeping. That's why it's bad to cold plunge too closely before bed.
Because then it makes the body warm back
up.
That's a warm shower before bed is good.
A warm shower or a hot sauna. Now your body's trying to cool itself, and it helps you sleep. However, living in Florida, I think everyone, especially if you sleep in bed with another person, like I do, my girlfriend's always with me. She's like a little heater in that bed. So it's like, as much as I love to cuddle her, I can't take more than a few minutes.
Right.
I'll start to sweat. I'm like, I gotta have some space so I can
Yep.
sleep, And it's like, so 8 Sleep was something I looked into, and I had some insomnia for a while there last year. And I think the insomnia was more related to the second business, the growth. My mind would never rest because there's just a million things to do launching the second business, the course business. But I bought 8 Sleep, and it has absolutely changed my game, my life for sleeping. And I'm obsessed with sleeping already.
So it's a cooling mat that's keeping you cool?
It's got an app on your phone. It gets to know you. It actually monitors all your biometrics while you sleep with all these sensors. So it gives you the same data that a Whoop or 8 Sleep with, no wearable needed.
And what about with 2 people in the bed?
There's 2 sides.
Oh, got it.
2 sides. Each person has their own app. Her side is different settings than mine. I sleep very cold. She sleeps pretty neutral.
Got it.
And actually can heat you. So the whole thing with 8 Sleep does, the general idea with it, and this is a pretty high-end company, it monitors where you're at, and then it automatically adjusts to keep you in the perfect state of deep sleep. So if your body starts to drop too much, it brings you back up while you're asleep, so you don't notice that you're not disrupted. But Huberman explains that warming of the body is the number one reason for light sleep or nighttime disruptions. That's why you wake up, because your body got
It's
too warm.
Too hot. You wake
And
up in
that's
this
so
cold
common,
sweats.
right? So it's like it keeps you cold all night. So when I get into that bed, it is cold. You know, how even without it, you can kind of have that cold under the cover feeling.
Yep.
It lasts all night like that. The pillow, everything's just cold, and it's like it just keeps you there. Gives all the data. It's incredible.
That's really cool. I'm going to look into that.
And my time to fall asleep, which is so amazing, is 2 minutes is my average. From the minute I climb under the covers to where I'm out, my average is 2 minutes, and it gives you that over
What
the
time do you
course.
normally wake up?
6:30, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
The time changed my sleep schedule for sure.
You felt that.
I like to get up around where the sun gets up.
Isn't this the last year that's happening?
I heard it was, and I hope it is.
I hope so too.
I voted twice. I filled out everything, my driver's license on this website form to vote. I don't know why we still do it.
Let's get rid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want, especially living here where, I don't have the 9 to 5 schedule, right? And I do live down here, but it's like almost every night we go to Sunset Beach, either with our new Doberman puppy to Dog Beach, or we just go to the front side with my daughter. It's like, if you worked 9 to 5 and you got out of work at 5 and the sun was already setting, how do you not get depressed at that point?
Yes.
You have to wait for the weekends to even see the sun, so
Yes.
it's hard. Now
No.
we have these 8:30 sunsets. It's beautiful.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah,
You
let's hope that thing is gone. That's the sleep thing is so important. And I will admit, recently my hours are definitely not where they need to be. Doing too much. Burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah, getting to bed at the same time is, I think, the most important.
Yeah.
Is getting a bedtime set and then not having the blue light. But it's like we can all say these things. Who actually is going to do them? We have to deal with our phones. I'm not the type that I can just put my phone away. I got constant stuff I got to deal with.
Oh yeah.
But at least getting in bed. The thing for me is I don't watch TV in my room. I keep it very dark, and so it's like I know that when I move into the bedroom, it's just to go to sleep.
Yep.
It's like the little routine: brush my teeth, go to bed, and I'm asleep.
Yep. Do the same thing. Same thing. Shifting gears back to St. Pete.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to eat?
A tricky subject. So let's break that down into different categories. Because,
Okay, but go ahead.
I'm a huge hobby griller. My first career was a chef. Huge hobby griller. I have a Traeger. I love cooking my big tomahawks, all my meat. So when I go out to eat, if you're talking about like go out to eat and spend a little money, I love Rococo. I love Ruth Chris for the atmosphere and for those places. And we do those with guys' dinners a lot. But for just like the quick stuff, Casita Taqueria is one of my favorites.
So good.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I like Mangosteen a lot.
Mangosteen is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mangosteens are good. Those are great spots. Those are great spots.
I think what else I went to had some really good food at. I used to go to Huckers a lot when I moved here.
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah. I went to Huckers a lot. Huckers is really good.
Yeah. So it's funny being on here because I ask that question every podcast.
Yeah.
And always get typically some new spot. And I mean, like I said, I haven't been here all that often. I don't go out to eat as often, maybe as I should.
Yeah. We don't either. That's why I said split it up.
Right. Yeah.
So if I do go out to eat, it's usually for like, hey, we're going to go to like a nice dinner and then we're going to do it up, and
right.
I have done that a lot. Like I've tried all the spots on this beach, St. Pete Beach to Treasure Island. And you can get underwhelming when places where it's tourist dedicated. They don't have to nurture repeat business where they have beachcombers all the time.
Yeah.
So the downtown side, Forest Street side, I found a lot more consistency in the food and
yeah, and it's it's all different. It's not I feel like everything out here, not to knock the beaches, but it's a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere and get a lot of the same food out here.
So sea salt, ceviche, rococo, those are the spots that I've loved to frequent down there.
Oh yeah, ceviche is one of my favorites. Get the croquetas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the place called at the Vinoy? Is that Landing? the landing.
I haven't been there.
That's a really good
Yeah.
spot too. They have some amazing wings. Yeah, they're good. up
Yeah,
there.
there's so many good spots. So many good spots. And then you got Tampa, across the bridge. If you ever cross the bridge over there,
I'm
And
going
that's
there
just a whole-
today.
You're going.
Yeah, Tampa Underground, a real estate networking event.
Yeah.
This is their first event at Sparkman Wharf. It's like 100 people going so far.
Nice.
But
It's cool just living here with that aspect of even if St. Pete ever got boring,
yeah, you get it right there.
you got something different 20 minutes away.
People make it seem like it's further than it is, though, Ryan.
It's that bridge.
When I lived in Lakeland, it was all the same area. Tampa, St. Pete was like, you're going over there to the beach. Like, I wouldn't see it any different because I'm already driving an hour to get over here. So
Right.
you're past through Tampa. St. Pete's like right there. When I moved here and I started meeting people and I realized how many people would not want to cross the bridge, I was like, dude, like, have you ever been to a city before? It takes 40 minutes to commute anywhere anyways. If you're in LA,
something
it's
about it.
3 miles.
There's something about it. We'll see
I
if maybe
feel
that
it.
changes when the new Howard Franklin, that bridge up there that they're building.
Do you know what they're doing with it? Have you heard?
I know a little bit.
So I cross by it every day, and I have my girlfriend Google it one day. And so what it appears to be is it's pedestrian and bike lanes on one side and traffic overflow on the other side.
Okay.
So they're going to actually make a bike and sidewalk to walk across for people that want to commute across on one of those new bridges, and then also traffic overflow.
Okay, that'll be cool.
You know?
That'll be cool. I think they still have a long ways to go.
Yeah, but they're moving fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how fast they're building any of these things. My buddy just moved into the Ascent downtown, that new building.
I have some family moving in there.
So fast
Yep.
it was up, and 400 residents. I'm looking forward to seeing what time frame that's going to take.
Yeah, probably another 3 years, 2-3
Yeah.
years on that one. That one's right next to our office, so I'm watching that thing being built and watching a big building going up. Development is my end goal.
Yeah.
Like to do a big thing like that, and so to watch the foundation is what they're still working on. It's been months and months and months of them doing this foundation. And when, like with anything, whether in life, right, you need a solid foundation
And build it up.
to build on top of. And so to watch this massive building's foundation and the amount of work that has gone into it is unbelievable.
We bid on it for the media capture. So a process like that, they want to have it shown as it goes up at each stage of the drone capture and media. We bid on that, and also the one in Tampa, downtown Tampa, the one building. They're building one there too. So same thing.
Yep. The Reflections is a project that doesn't get a lot of attention. Actually, the development team in my office is a part of that. It's going to be near Mirror Lake.
They just called me
Yeah.
to edit the video. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, they have a lot of that. That is going to be
Yeah.
super cool. It's in a super unique location downtown. I was just out on the site last week. and
Yeah.
got to
I
see
saw
it.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
There's just so much. It's hard to keep up with what it is anymore.
No, it
It's
is.
going to turn into Miami vibes down here is what I feel
You
like
think?
it's going to be.
You think it's going to go that far?
I mean, it just, the amount of buildings, it seems like it. You fast forward 10 years.
the high rises that are all coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to build one.
Would you live in something like that?
Yeah.
I feel like
think-
I'd have a hard time not having a backyard.
So I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in a big building there.
Okay.
It depends. I do crave like having outdoor space and not having to open your door and then take an elevator to go outside or
Right.
whatever. But having a balcony would solve that. I don't know. It depends where I'm at, what I'm doing. It's really convenience. When you live that close to
local.
downtown,
Sure.
you don't have to worry about driving places and can walk everywhere. It's just a different lifestyle. It's a
Yeah.
different lifestyle.
No, I agree. One of my buddies, David, who moved to Ascent, he owns 2 properties that he left his really nice property in St. Pete and just Airbnbs it and signed a lease at Ascent for a year. And he was like, I just have to know how I like city life.
Yep.
And he's like, and if worse comes to worse, I just go back to my house. And I was
Right.
like, that's so true. Just you have your house there ready. But
Yeah.
my theory is that when you live in places, like I'm really cautious with my energy, and energy is so sticky. And so, like, if you are around people all the time and you're around action and entertainment and invitations and lust and attraction and all that stuff all the time, it will start to mess with the energy that you're sending out to manifest things, because your energy is not as maintained, as focused anymore. You're getting it's like a pressure washer, and you're getting little holes poked in it.
Yeah.
And so you're losing some pressure out. Like the biggest success in my life I've ever had is when I moved over here and kind of isolated away. So it's like I work from home and I make my social outings very planned.
Very purposeful.
You don't just leave your house to walk your dog and bump into 10 people.
Oh,
and now they're telling you stories. Hey, did you hear what happened? And you're taking all that on. And then by the time you get home, you have all this extra clutter in your mind, the spider webs that you have to clean out. So
wow, that was such a good analogy and is my life.
dude, yeah, it's hard. I talk about this all the time. People don't understand. It's like all I can do is try to demonstrate it and then show. But it's like focus is the greatest work that we're all going to do in our life. Is how much. And it's like, man, when I was single, it was hard. You want to be in the action. You want to be where the people are at. You want to go to like PCI instead of going to the beach with just your chair and your umbrella and your girl. Like our beach days are so different now.
Oh, I bet.
It's me and my girl and an umbrella and a chair, and that's
nice.
all we need. But before I was like, we're all the people. We're getting that.
Right.
I never left that scene with anything good. You left with like anxious energy and all this stuff. And it's like, I realized like if everyone talks about it now because like the spirituality side.
Well, I think COVID let people realize a lot of that. So you had to go do a lot of inward work during COVID.
Sure.
Like for myself, I did yoga twice a day, meditated for almost an hour, did a lot of journaling during COVID, and really focused in on that energy, which is, I gained a lot of skills and tools that have let me, do this podcast and keep moving as fast as I can because I can check in with myself and know, but to know when you need to go back and get regrounded heavy is super important.
I think it's just having the compass inside, and this is something that all people need to get a feel for, is like, when are you being social because you don't want to be lonely versus when are you being social to recharge batteries? Like, it's totally fine to be social, to go meet people, have fun, inspiration. If I have buddies over, we grill steaks, we're laughing, it's a great time. But when you're around people too much and you realize like they're telling you about their life and this thing and all these things, then now that's in your mind.
Yeah,
and it's like, did it benefit you to learn that? And then I'll be on my road bike and I'm thinking about, maybe if she did this, it would solve this problem for her. And I'm like, why am I thinking about her problems? I have my own stuff. And that's what social life can do to you so much.
Yes.
Over social.
But being able to witness it is important, right?
You got to be out of your own meter. Right. And of course, people could listen to that and they could be like, Tony, easy for you to say, but we have a really happy life from a social. Okay, I hear you. How many of your goals are you accomplishing though? How close are you getting to them? Or are you just defaulting to the norm and just letting yourself drift through the, and tread water? And that's what I think most people, they stop reaching because it just gets so.
Right. Well, your cups are or either empty or there's too much to even process to what's happening. Yeah,
that's it. So I think there's something to that. I mean, people when I've made videos on this subject and people definitely seem to understand that, but anyways, the downtown scene is beautiful. I love going downtown.
Way to bring it back.
Selective, right? So like going down when I know what I'm going down for, and then I'm out. I'm going home to my little beach house, and I'm just gonna be alone out there.
No, I get that. It's good. It's good to protect yourself. I love that you're doing that, and you're doing great things. So it's obviously working for you.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I really, really, really appreciate you coming on.
It was
where can people find you?
Guys, Instagram, Tony Salazar. There's no characters, just my name. The 8 Limbs podcast is my podcast. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We have our own page. And then 8 Limbs Creative. Everything's in my bio tagged. Hope it can be of some value. And
check out Tony's page. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there. Dude, I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys can keep up. And I always want people to leave a little comment if they've made it this far. What should the word be, Tony?
What should the word be?
Yeah, if they made it this far and they're still watching, what should they comment?
Abundance.
Abundance. If you're still watching and you held on to all of our crazy conversations, put abundance in the comments. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next one. Boom. Dude.
Nice, man. Killed it.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Hope you guys love the Newtopia. I just realized the box that we opened. Oh, let me show you what the box